Hey, Coach, can you hear us okay?
I can. Yep.
We're ready.
All right. So really, the only injuries we have, well, we've got a couple, but you know a couple of them, and they're making progress. Austin Reeder has a little bit of a sore knee. He's working through that, and we'll just see how that goes for tomorrow. Look forward to the challenge of playing the Chargers. We know they're a good football team, so we've got to have a good week of practice as we go forward. There are some good things that we can take out of the game on Thursday, and there are plenty of things that we can work on. So we've had the guys in here earlier, so we were able to go through some things with them a couple days ago, or yesterday. Days are flying by, but so they were able to get a quick practice in yesterday, and we were able to review some of those things that we need to get better at. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
Let's go to Herbie to start us off. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, hope you had a good weekend.
All good, Herbie.
Yeah, at the Thursday night's game, you had mentioned Shavarius Ward had a fractured hand, that he was going to get tested on Friday. I'm curious how those test results went, and do you anticipate him missing any time going forward?
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. He had some work done on it, and we'll just see where he's at. When it's by game time, but we'll see. We just gotta have to see how it feels.
Let's go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy. Excuse me. I wanted to ask you about Juan Thornhill and how you felt he was doing on the knee, and how he came through the game, and also he probably didn't play as many snaps as he otherwise might have. Was he on some kind of snap count?
Well, yeah, no, we did. We watched him, and he actually came out feeling good, which was what we wanted. We were cautious with him. He wanted more. He wanted to play more, to his credit, but that's it all worked out well. In particular, the day after, which was important for us and for him most of all.
Let's go to Todd Lee. Let's go to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Coach. You guys have not traveled yet. Can you take us through some of the protocols and how this is going to maybe be different for you when you guys do make that trip out to LA?
Yeah. So you can't leave the hotel. So we'll stay, we'll leave a little bit later, get to the hotel a little bit later. And then we won't have the individual meetings that we normally have out there. But we'll be able to knock out our team meeting and then grab a bite to eat and get on with the evening. So we'll spend a little bit more time here with our morning meetings and get those done.
Let's go to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy. If this one delves too much into strategy, hey, I get it. But I was wondering, the amount of times you guys ran the ball on Thursday, was that something you were intent on doing, or was that just the way the game flowed and the way it played out?
Yeah, so we wanted to kind of get the run game going is what we wanted to do. And especially with a younger back, I think that was important to get him used to the speed of the game. But at the same time, you want production. You want, you're striving to put points on the board. So a little bit of everything there that you mentioned. Part of it was we got in there and it was working, so we stuck to it. On the other hand, it was also good to get our young back some carries and experience, which I thought was important. That's kind of the answer to it.
Go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Good afternoon, Coach. Patrick has said this offseason that he wanted to improve on decision-making on the fly, adjustments on the fly. So in the watch of the game, how much did you see him maybe grow in taking what the defense gave him maybe last year, this year? Again, I know, realizing it's only one game.
Yeah, so he did work on that, and I thought he did a nice job with that, managing the game and still taking shots when needed. And I thought he was accurate with the ball, and I thought he just handled the situation against a good defense. I thought he handled it well. So that to me showed some growth. Not that he hasn't been good at, but he was even better Thursday night.
Let's go to Seren Petra. Go ahead, Seren.
Coach, kind of a follow-up to what Sam was asking, just, your philosophy on how much, and it's not a loaded question like, oh, Clyde got the ball too much, right? But just your philosophy on how you balance it and balancing the workload, and just your thoughts about riding a hot hand versus, giving everybody a little bit of work and trying to get everybody to the finish line, still healthy at the end.
Yeah. So, yeah, listen, that's what you do as a head coach. You're trying to manage the whole thing. So we felt like we're still able to get people touches on the ball, or at least opportunities on the ball, and that's important for everybody. It's important for the team, and it's important for success on offense. And at the same time, we were able to get our young guys involved really on both sides of the ball, which I thought was important. And, in the case you're talking about, Clyde got some carries, and there are a whole lot of things that go into that. How are you going to recover for the next week? There's a way of doing that as a running back in the National Football League to get yourself right for a Wednesday practice. And how do you manage yourself up to that point and then get yourself ready throughout the week for the game? So all of these things he has to learn as he goes forward here. Yeah.
Let's go to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Coach, this is along the lines of what Todd asked about traveling. Nobody's really played in this stadium to this point, and I know a lot of people talk about the new stadiums kind of being almost like airport hangars and how they're empty, and just especially with no fans this year. Is there any getting a scouting report on where you're going to play? I know quarterbacks are really particular about sight lines and where the clock is and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, you can see it a little bit on tape. It's the same place that they played last night, so we got a little bit of a jump start on it. The thing that jumps out at you is, it was the sound. There's that percussion that takes place in the stadium. You heard the ball hit the goalpost, and you could hear it on TV, and as loud as can be. And you could hear players talking, in particular. Yeah, anyways, you could hear players talking during the game. So it was, you understand that with nobody in there, things are, they're magnified a bit from a normal game.
Let's go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Andy, wanted to follow up on Legarius. Just what have you seen to be his biggest growth from when the rookies were able to be in the facility to obviously what he did on Thursday?
Yeah. Well, there's been plenty. Like all the rookies, they're every practice they can get in is good. And then if you can get them in the game, even better so. So the speed of it is so much more magnified once you get in there that you've got to get used to it. And anyways, that ends up being, I think, important for all of them. Yeah. But he's had good growth.
Go to Matt Derrick next. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach. I'm curious overall about what your thoughts were on the offensive line Thursday night, and specifically with Kelechi. Does he bring maybe a different physicality? Maybe a little bit more of a brawler attitude that you guys kind of need inside?
Yeah, Larry was a little bit that way too, and Wiley's got some of that in him too. So. But it's good to add it. It's good to be able to put another guy in there with his experience, I think, and his attitude about playing. He plays, and he plays aggressive, and you have to love that. I'm not saying we haven't had it before, but what an addition, to be able to put it in there. And I think his, thing that's followed him throughout his career has been, you play against him, you better strap it on because he's going to bring it to you every down. And it's going to be aggressive, and he's going to do it to the whistle and that whole thing. So I appreciate that. I think you've got to have that up front, and it's a good tempo setter.
Got time for a couple more guys. Let's go Steve and then Herbie to close it out. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, Andy, since you have had the chance to go back and look at film from Thursday, I'm wondering if the mistakes that you counted were more or less than expected since you didn't have those preseason games. And also, have any of your veteran guys said that they were more sore than previous years since they didn't get those first hits out of the way from someone other than their own teammates?
Yeah, no, I'm sure there were some sore people. They moved around good yesterday, so and I asked around a little bit. I mean, it would seem to be the norm, but didn't seem too much out of the normal. But I know the game. I know it's faster. What was the first part of your question there?
Going back and look at the film from Thursday.
So the mistakes. Yeah. So we came out of it with a ton to work on. I think, but at the same time, it might have been in some areas we were more effective than maybe I thought we would be, but just without the preseason games. But we're coming out with a lot of stuff we can work on. The players know it. I mean, they've seen the tape now, and they know what they need to go back and take care of. And so our guys are pretty upfront with all that, and they're honest on how they evaluate themselves.
Let's go to Herbie to close us out. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, along those same lines, without the preseason, and you look at the quality of the games around the league on Sunday, how surprised were you that the quality was actually pretty high without the preseason?
Yeah, I thought listen, they're fun to watch, and it was good football. I think the place that it really gets you is probably with the guys that are new into new areas, whether it's a new staff, a young player having to be put in a primary position. I think all of those things, whether you're learning a new scheme, whatever it might be, can be a bit of a challenge, but and it probably will smooth out during as the season goes on. Yeah, but I thought it was fun to watch. It was good to have it back, and the guys look like the players were flying around enjoying it.
Coach, we really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right, guys, let me hit the button here, and if you have any questions,